I forgot to tell you when we went to see Top Gun.
Yeah.
We sat through all the trailers, all 15 minutes of trailers. The credits come on. Paramount Pictures presents Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah.
Cameron leans over and he goes, "Dad." I'm like, "What?" He says, "What happened in the first Top Gun?"
You're about to see.
Like you're asking me now.
Hey, this occurred to me today. ID, which I had to show it again. There's a strange abbreviation when you think about it. I is short for I. And then D is short for dentification.
Welcome to Irritable Dad Syndrome, the perfect podcast to listen to while mowing your lawn. But please, don't mow it diagonally. Here are your hosts, Mike and Darren.
Hey, everybody, it's Irritable Dad Syndrome. I am Mike.
I'm Darren. Welcome to the show. It's episode 96. You know what happened in 1996?
What?
Rage Against the Machine released their follow-up album, Evil Empire, that contains such great hits as Bulls on Parade and People of the Sun. Has nothing to do with your favorite group.
No.
U2.
No.
There you go. That'll be the U2 mention of the first 2 minutes of the show.
Yeah, in 1996 was 1 year before 1997, which is the year that Pop was released.
Oh God, here we go.
Not Pepsi.
No,
not Coke,
not
the album.
The stuff in the can. Yeah. Welcome. Mike and we haven't seen each other in like 2-3 weeks.
3 weeks?
Yeah, I think so, because we recorded a bunch of shows in advance. We hope you enjoyed every single one of them. We enjoyed making them. But today's date is June 21st, and we are back. We're going to record this episode, number 96.
We're going to try to do another one.
Yes, we are.
Yep.
Because I'm going on vacation in July. But yeah, so we may have hit some pop culture references that hit about a month late, and that's why.
Yeah.
So on this episode tonight, I have not one, but 2 stories of bad customer service at Home Depot.
Okay.
Yeah.
We went on vacation. The Odell family went on vacation. And I died about 2.5 times. Almost died.
Yeah.
About 2.5 times. So that'll be fun.
Okay. Good. And we, in our latest installment of Songs That Need to Be Retired, our first country song. So if you're wondering why we were rejecting that genre of music, we are going to resolve that tonight.
I don't want to offend anyone, but I think all country songs could be retired.
No Johnny Cash. Do not put a Johnny Cash song on that list.
I'm okay with Johnny Cash. Yeah. And I did through the course. I think I told you, I listened to, and I know this is not country music, and I know people who are listening to country music normally are going to swerve off the road and cuss this show and never listen again when they hear me say this.
Right.
But I still am going to say it. Through much of the trip, we listened to the Young Guns 1 and 2 soundtrack.
By Hans Zimmer?
Alan Silvestri.
Alan Silvestri.
Yeah.
Alan Silvestri's badass.
He is, man. Yeah.
I think he was one of the probably underrated composers of our time.
I think he was Young Guns too, and I know nobody cares, and it has nothing to do with anything, and I'll probably edit it out anyway.
I want to say Hans Zimmer did Young Guns 1.
No, Hans Zimmer was just he was just a young pup. Young Guns 1 came out. It was Anthony Marinelli.
That was my next guess.
And Brian Banks.
Yeah.
It's surprisingly good. Yeah.
Before we get going, I want to make an apology. On the last episode, I had mentioned that I think the exact words were, my wife has started listening to the podcast. And I seriously need to correct that.
Okay.
Because my wife has listened to the podcast since we started doing the podcast. My wife has started telling me things that really need to go in the podcast.
Okay.
She has been listening.
Like humor?
Like all kinds of things. She wants a rebuttal. She's been speaking for your wife, saying that Bess and I need to have a rebuttal on your show. I'm like, well, ask Bess if she wants to be on the show.
You know what?
And if so, they can make their own podcast.
Make a podcast called Rebuttal.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, but the truth is, my wife has listened since we started the podcast.
Okay.
And I shouldn't have said that. I also realize, and I want to apologize because I say the word anyway a lot.
Yeah.
And I was watching Norm Macdonald's new Nothing Special on Netflix, and he says that like every other word. Anyway, so I was thinking about ice cube trays, Anyway. And I'm like, oh my God, I do that. So, but
I'm going to, along those same lines, I say like way too much.
Yeah.
And editing Mike, who's listening to this right now, I apologize in advance. I'm going to do my best to not say it because I know it grates the ears.
Yeah.
I wouldn't listen to a podcast where one of them says like all the time.
Yeah.
I'd turn it off.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
Did you have a good Father's Day?
I did.
Yeah. What did you do?
I did. I got a bike.
Okay.
Yeah. And rode bikes with Charlie and Bess. I think Andrew. Andrew's too big for his bike. We need to get him a new bike.
We just got Cameron a new bike.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it kind of goes along with the vacation in that we rip-roared across the country through the American Southwest.
Okay.
Buying all kinds of stuff, staying in all kinds of different places, off the grid, on the grid, all these things.
Yeah.
Chase, my card company, had no problem with any of that.
Right.
Get back. I'm like, I kind of want a bike. You know, I have plantar fasciitis, which makes it hard to run. I used to run a lot, and I can't. So I'm like, I'm going to start biking. I'll get a mountain bike, and I'll start biking. Go to bike, they canceled my card. I call them up.
Whoa. Wait.
Yeah.
Mike Odell's trying to buy any type of
I
exercise
called them.
equipment.
I'm like, what? So I had to use a different card. You know, and I had that, embarrassing, like, sir, your card's been declined. And, all
like,
the other.
Rub it. Rub the strip. Rub it.
And all the other people at Dick's are like looking over and judging me. I'm like, okay, Susan, put your crap, whatever. I know you can afford your whatever you're buying.
Your AB bench.
Yeah, So I went ahead and got it, and then I called Chase later, and I'm like, what's going on? They're like, well, we noticed a fraudulent charge. It's like someone was buying sporting goods. Yeah, that was me.
Yeah.
Oh. So we have also turned off our mail, So
Okay.
they said they were mailing us a card. So we just got the mail turned back on. Like there's a switch. You go to the
I didn't know you
post
could actually
office
turn off mail.
You can turn it off. And in theory, you can. I don't
okay.
think they ever stopped delivering it, but you go there so that you don't have like tons of mail sticking out of your thing.
Don't you have, what are they called? Neighbors who could get your mail? Neighbors that you trust?
In theory. In theory.
See, you know what you should have done?
Yeah.
Just call Chris Michael. He would have driven over there, gotten your mail.
Yeah, he would have.
Yeah.
He would have.
Yeah.
So I got a mountain bike for Father's Day and rode bikes with the family.
Sounds like fun. Yeah. I changed out a toilet seat on Father's Day.
Is it one that you broke?
No, it's one that Cameron broke somehow. I don't know what he was doing.
Yeah.
We had a busted toilet seat, had to change that out. And I got something super cool that I have wanted for years. My wife and my mom chipped in and got me an authentic 1993 David Letterman Late Show jacket.
Now, you say authentic. What do you mean? Like an actual, like...
Every year that Letterman was on The Late Show on CBS, every year he would buy his entire staff each a jacket. Looked like a Letterman high school football jacket, right?
Yeah.
Some say Late Show, some say Ed Sullivan Theater, some say Thank You and Good Night. Some are red, some are gray. The one I have is blue with yellow leather sleeves.
Classic.
The very first one, and there's pictures on the Google images of Bruce Willis on the show wearing this jacket.
Wow.
They gave them to like certain favorite guests.
Okay.
But anyway, there are just, some of the staff members had like 20 of these jackets.
Yeah.
What am I going to do with all these jackets? And they got sort of passed around and bought one. I won't tell you how many dollars it was, but I love it.
Yeah.
So
awesome.
So thank you to my mom. Thank you to Libby for chipping in and getting me this. It's a kick-ass jacket. I love it. Yeah.
Let's take a quick break off here, and we got to acknowledge the stream. We have people that are usually with us on the stream when we're recording this. We've got Chris Hughes, we've got Robert Hill.
Hi, Chris. Hi,
Steve
Robert.
Farrell's being his normal Steve Farrell self, talking about Hans Zimmer falling off the building in Die Hard.
No, that was Han Solo. Yeah.
Han Solo. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, all right. Anyway, I want to acknowledge that they're here.
Yeah. Robert, we missed you too.
Yeah.
Troy-Bilt lawn tractors have been giving irritable dads an unwarranted sense of masculinity since 1937. When your neighbors see you mowing your grass with a Troy-Bilt, they'll know you're compensating. But who cares? With a high-performing Kohler engine and a hydrostatic transmission, your Troy-Bilt will beat most neighbors in a childish lawnmower drag race. And when you hurriedly mow your grass right before a rainstorm because your asshole neighbor quickly mowed his just to make you look bad, it's okay. Make your lawn look less embarrassing with Troy-Bilt.
How was your vacation?
Dude, I'm a changed person after the vacation. We
Yeah.
went to the American Southwest as opposed to the Guatemalan Southwest or
Right,
wherever
right.
else you would go.
The North American?
North American.
Okay.
So we've been planning this trip for 3 or 4 years.
Yeah,
It
you
was
were going to go a while
pre-COVID.
back, but
Yeah.
you had to cancel the whole thing.
Yeah. So we flew into Denver and then
And
drove.
boy, were your arms tired.
Oh, boy.
I'm sorry.
And
That's
then,
the last time I do that.
Yeah. And then drove from, Denver. We went to Garden of the Gods, Great Sand Dunes, Mesa Verde, Monument Valley, Grand Canyon, Hoover Dam was in there somewhere,
Yeah.
Las Vegas,
Okay.
and then Death Valley.
Sounds like a great trip.
And then on
All
to
right.
the-
Good
yeah,
talk.
Yeah. Okay. So 2.5 times I thought we were all going to die.
Not just you.
And the entire family, I'm going to take everybody with me.
Yeah.
So the first one was the first day. We're at the Garden of the Gods. Now, we are the typical Midwest family who's never been anywhere.
Right.
And we're looking around. The Garden of the Gods is basically these big orange pink rocks on the ground.
Okay.
And they're amazing looking. First things we say to each other is like, wow, because they look like stuff that's from a Disney, like from Disney. We're like, wow,
Wow.
Disney really knows how these things look. So we have like hundreds of pictures of these rocks. Couldn't check into the place that we were staying until 3 p.m. We're driving around. We noticed there's a mountain, Pikes Peak. It's
Okay.
14,000 something feet.
Yeah.
I tell Bess, it's like a 30-minute drive to get there. So like, we're close to the time that we need to like eat or do whatever, but we'll drive out there and see what it looks like. We
Right.
get to the base and there's a guy standing there that you're paying the ability to go in, okay,
Mm-hmm.
to drive up it. And he starts talking to me about low gears. He's like, you do use whatever gear, drive going up, but on the way down, you want to stay in first or second, and conserve your brakes. There'll be a brake check and all this stuff. I'm like, okay, I'm not going all the way up to the thing.
Uh-huh.
He said, you get to the last 3 miles, there's an opportunity to ride a shuttle. I'm like, I don't even think we're going to go up that high. We just want to go up a little bit and see this.
Right.
We drove to the entire top of the thing. I was practically in tears the last 3 miles. Bess could not look out. There was one moment. Okay. So on one side of the car is just the mountain. Okay. And the other one is air.
Right.
No guardrail, nothing, just air. Okay. And at one moment, I'm looking over to say something to Bess. She's got her head down, and I look, and I am eye level with a cloud. A cloud.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And worse than the cloud is that you can see the landscape out there, and it looks like you're looking out the side of a plane,
Yeah.
except you're on a mountain.
Uh-huh.
And you're in full control of this vehicle that you're driving at that moment. And you need to quit looking out there because you're now supposed to be turning and not going off the side of this mountain. So I start almost hyperventilating.
Yeah.
And we get up to the top. I'm swearing. There's no way I'm going back down. I can't. We're going to have to get somebody to get a helicopter up here and take me down. I'm not doing that again. I was practically in tears, like I said. So we have all these pictures at the top. We talked to the gift shop guy. There's a gift shop up there.
Of course there is.
Yeah. And
Did they have one of those
He
little things
said-
where you could put the quarter and the penny in there and you crank
had
it?
one of those
and then mix
everywhere we went. We had
Yeah, I love
everywhere we went.
those. Yeah.
And he said it's much easier going down because you can see everything and the oxygen level starts to increase. He's like, part of what you're dealing with right now is a little bit of sickness due to that. He's like, also
Elevation
sickness. He said, the only thing you really need to worry about is your brakes giving out. But other than that,
no.
you're good. I'm like, okay.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah. So he was right. Going back down was much easier. But good God, I was... I needed therapy after that.
Yeah.
That was really... I'm thinking about it now. I feel kind of queasy.
Yeah. So in 1806, Lieutenant Zebulon Montgomery Pike.
Zebulon.
We were going to name our first son Zebulon, but
Yeah.
then opted for Jacob. The peak is named after him, and then it turns out that he never did actually climb to the top of Pikes Peak. James Edmund is the first white explorer to succeed that. So there you
Okay.
go. Bam.
All right.
Yeah.
So the second time...
This is an entertainment podcast.
The second
Nothing funny
time...
about that? Okay.
I thought it was just me was going to die, but Andrew was going to die by virtue of me dying, and I was the only one out there with him.
Right.
We decided we go to the Grand Canyon. We're there at the Grand Canyon for 2 days. Okay,
Grand Canyon is gorgeous.
it is. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And I wanted to hike down at least part of the way into it. And so Bess was tired and Charlie didn't want to go. I should have listened to them. But I was like, Andrew, let's go hike the thing. He's like, yeah, we're going to go do it. There's a trail called the Bright Angel Trail.
Okay.
I thought that sounded nice,
Yeah.
easy.
Sure.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
got angel in the title.
And bright.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we start hiking down it, and it just kind of goes down. So the entire time we're going down, I'm saying to Andrew, stay close to the wall. Don't go, because he kept looking over the edge. And there were a few points there. There were a few points where a shrub or something would have caught him, but there's another couple points where he was on just looking out over air. And I'd watched him trip and stumble enough through the rest of the thing. He wouldn't like just jump off, but I could see him going, whoa, and then flipping forward. And at one point I said, okay, if you're going to keep doing that, at least keep your body mass back from the edge so that if you, when you fall back towards the cliff. Okay. So we go all the way down. I'm like that most of the way.
All the way down.
No, not all the way. I'm sorry.
Okay.
We go 1.5 miles.
How deep is it?
The whole trail was 8 miles, but you go 8 miles out to overlook the Colorado River, and then it's 8 miles back up. So if you do the whole thing, it's 16 miles. There's no way.
No way.
1.5 miles down. And I don't mean straight down. You know what I mean? The
I know.
trail itself.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So we get down there. There's a rest area, literally a pot to piss in.
With a gift
and
shop?
Like a, yeah, one of those penny
with
things.
a penny in the quarter?
and a freaking water spigot. I mean, it's like, what do you want? What do you want? Like a Aquafina thing down here? It's a spigot. You know, if you're dying of thirst, there it is.
Is that where you feed your donkey?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, fun fact, this is the same trail they use to take the donkeys down.
Okay.
So then we have to hike back up. I thought that would be a cinch.
Why?
Taint a cinch.
Why would you? And why are
Because
you
I'm
saying
an idiot.
taint?
Because it ain't.
Okay.
It's
taint is something else.
Indeed.
Yeah.
I'm a moron. Okay. I think I've displayed that. This is episode 96. These people know.
I think they
I'm
figured
an
it out.
idiot.
Yeah.
It kind of zigzagged up the side of the canyon. Every zig, Dad had to stop. And I'm like, like a deep, mournful
Yes.
breathing.
Yeah.
You know? All those moments in my life that I thought, I am in shape. I'm taking Taekwondo. I'm doing this. I'm running.
I haven't taken a Taekwondo lesson in 7 years.
I've got a tool bandana. I'm a badass.
Yeah.
It's all flying out the window.
Yeah.
After about 5 or 6 of those, I started to really have some deep fear set in. Like, I don't know that I'm going to make it.
Right.
I'm going to be one of those this is going to be an embarrassing story where I tell the next passerby, get somebody to helicopter down here and save me.
Exactly.
Then we hear
Go on.
We hear thunder.
Leave me here. Oh. I forgot that we censored this. Sorry. It's been a long time.
Yeah. So that kind of got some giddy in my up. You know, I was like, okay, we got to I don't want to die from a lightning strike. That's even,
right.
You know,
well, you also
worse.
don't want the Colorado River to gully wash your ass out of
Well,
there.
we weren't that low, but yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Hey, you never know.
You never know. So Andrew, he was actually stopping a few times too, so I didn't feel too bad. We get near the top, and I almost burst into tears when we get within sight of the top. He's like, Dad, we're almost here. And I said, awesome, loudly. And then to myself, it's like, thank Jesus.
Yeah.
Thank you, God.
Yeah. Yeah.
And a tear came down. I was like, I'm not going to die out here. A squirrel was following us most of the way. I think it was expecting, like a buzzard will follow a dying
Yeah, the
animal.
squirrel was going to eat.
I thought it was going
off of your
eat my face.
Flesh. Yes.
Yeah, and a raven was also following us at one point. I got a picture of Andrew and the raven. So that was the second time I almost died.
You know, the time that I was at Grand Canyon, we got lost, and it was late at night, and I was really bummed because my flashlight didn't work because my little brother Bobby had taken the batteries out of the flashlight and filled it with baked beans. Wait a minute.
Wait.
That was the Brady Bunch.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay. I was going to say you finally named your brother.
That's right.
The halftime, I almost died.
So how do you halfway die?
Well, this was a moment where I almost died until this happened before the Grand Canyon incident. after the Grand Canyon, that's a full I Almost Died. This
Right.
one got downgraded from a full to a half.
Yeah.
Was the Great Sand Dunes. I don't know if you've ever seen the Great Sand. You know what I'm talking about.
I've seen, yeah.
But have you seen them like in person?
No.
Okay.
No.
So here's a tip.
Okay.
They look small from far away. As a matter of fact,
Everything does. Like when you're in a plane, you look down. That's why people are like, "Hey, they look like ants." Yeah, it's depth perception, Mike.
we were at a
Oh,
lodge.
they look small.
We were at a lodge. They're right up against some mountains. We were at a lodge, and I'm like, those are just a couple of piles. That's not that big of a deal. Why is this a national park?
Can you
That's
imagine?
nothing.
Can you imagine if things didn't look smaller the further you got away from them? It's like, oh my god, that thing is not getting smaller. Son of a bitch.
We start going over there. We have to drive over to a parking lot, and as we get closer, I was like, okay, those are larger, but we'll be up the top of them in like 5 minutes, and we'll be back down. You can go home. Yay, whatever. This is a waste.
Yeah.
We start walking to them. We have to cross over this thing. I'm like, there is a lot of land in between where we are and where they start. Finally, when we get to the base of them, it's like, oh my God, we're going to get eaten by a sandworm. These things are gigantic. Yeah. They were massive. Yeah. So, of course, Darren. Andrew's like, let's go up because we got these boards to slide down the sand dunes
like sleigh riding,
like a fancy person.
but on sand.
Yeah. So we decided to go up like one of the main
How
big
much was it to rent a board? So that
20,
you could
20 something. Yeah.
cheat
We'll
death.
talk about money after
Okay.
all this.
Okay.
Because my concept of money right now is blasted away. We decided to go up to like one of the bigger ones. I get halfway up there and I'm again almost in tears. Plus there's sand getting in my eyes and the wind is blowing the sand. It's it's attacking my legs.
Mm-hmm.
We did get up to one of the top of the medium ones. Mm-hmm. And then I felt like a badass. I'm like, I've conquered a dune. And
Look at me.
But then I remember previous Mike
Yeah.
watching from the road is like, that dude's just standing on a little mound of sand. That's not a big deal. I will say, and I have pictures of this, but I want to there's no context to it. When I went over the top of that sand dune, there was a pit that went down. It had to have been between 80 and 90 feet. And I feel like I'm exaggerating on the small end. I think it was deeper than that. It looked like the Sarlacc pit without the Sarlacc in it.
Yeah.
It was one of those, like, again, this happened a lot during this vacation. I get up the edge and look over and like, oh my God, one step that way and they're not going to find me.
Yeah.
The sand is going to cover me up and no one's going to go down there and get me from that.
No
one loves me that much. But yeah, so anyway, I took some pictures and I'm showing Bess, and when the pictures don't really convey the fear and the awe of that. That was, but Andrew, and he said it, and I will quote him, "Whoa, I'm not going down that." And I was like, "No, you're not.
No.
Because if you do, that's it.
Yeah.
We'll divvy up your college fund. No one's coming after you.
I mean, it's like you go down. How would you get out of it?
You could climb your way out of it, but it's
how?
like,
It's sand. You put your feet in, and it's just your feet are gonna go into sand. You'll be like that guy in the foam pit.
Hence me almost dying coming up the dune. I, like a moron, didn't think, oh, the sand is going to I'm going back every foot I go forward, I'm going back half a foot.
There's probably not steps or a rail.
So that whole journey,
or an escalator.
That whole journey going up to the top of that dune took us about 45 minutes.
Yeah, and 2 minutes to go down.
And it was stretched out across most of the sand dunes. Mm-hmm. That pit went down as far as we had come up, but it was like down within like 20 feet. Oh my God. Just thinking about it. Because it's out there right now.
Yeah.
It's out there.
You know what would be funny is if somebody put like a giant skeleton remain of like what was that sand lizard in Star Wars that C-3PO walked past? Put one of those out there and just leave it there.
Oh my
God.
Wow. Yeah.
Irritable Dad Syndrome is proud to be associated with Newsly, the all-in-one audio super app for iOS and Android. For the first time ever, the entire internet becomes listenable, all in one place. Newsly picks up articles about the most trending topics and reads them to you in a natural human voice. Irritable Dad Syndrome is available there too. You can find trending podcasts from more than 80 countries and digital radio as well. So stop scrolling and start listening. Download Newsly now. Just go to www.newsly.me and use this promo code 1RR1TABLEDAD and receive a free 1-month premium subscription.
I didn't want to spend all my time talking about the vacation, but it was a long vacation. I do have a couple of stories, couple more stories to go through.
You couldn't possibly spend more time than I did talking about Universal Studios, so knock yourself out.
In Vegas, we stayed at the castle-looking casino, Excalibur.
Okay.
All right, because we have kids, and that's what you do when you have kids. You stay there. You're not. What are you going to take your kids to the Bellagio?
Exactly.
Look, there's where George Clooney was getting beat up for most of the movie, and then he climbed through the
Yeah.
So
you can't go to a casino with kids.
They have.
You can go see Tom Jones.
We went through many casinos with them, but that's a different part of the story. Didn't place a single bet. Didn't play any of the machine things.
Gambling is not my thing.
I just didn't.
I suck at it.
Yeah, I didn't understand it.
Yeah. Well, with gambling, you say you put $5 on something, you're hoping to win more than $5 back.
I get that.
Yeah. Okay.
But you're not going to.
No, you're not.
Because I just passed to get here. Yes, sir. Yes.
Norm Macdonald on his new special, which is called Nothing Special, which is on Netflix, is talking about gambling. Apparently, he had a very bad gambling problem.
He did.
He says, "So I'm at the casino, right? And I'm at the roulette table, right? Yeah. And so I put $200 on red. Okay, I got it on red, and they spin it, and the ball goes round and round and round and round and round, and it lands on black. And I said, I should have put it on black." And that was his gambling story. And after the special, after the special was as good as the special, because Letterman and David Spade, what's your guy's name? Adam Sandler, and Conan O'Brien, they're Molly Shannon, and Chappelle. Okay. The 6 of them are talking about the special, and they're talking about Norm, and they all had stories about how much he loved to gamble.
Yeah. But I'm passing by. I mean, I passed by a pyramid. Yeah. Multiple buildings that looked like they were made out of gold.
Yeah.
I was like,
Did you pass like the water thing?
They didn't have those going.
Why?
They didn't have them going. I don't know. I was pissed. I went on a
folks.
I went on a pilgrimage down to the. Sorry, folks. Bellagio's closed. I went down there to see them specifically. I got pictures of them not working in the middle of the day, but you know. We're at the kiddie place, the medieval place, and they have a tournament of kings. It's like knights. Everybody sits. When you buy your tickets, you're picking a country. Of course, I picked Ireland. That's who we're going to root for.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you get a knight. And they're out there on horses, like right in front of you. And you know the food that you give, they give like a full chicken and a potato thing, and you eat it with your fingers. And everybody has mugs. The kids have like pop in there,
kind of like Dixie Stampede in Gatlinburg.
Sure.
You've never been there?
No.
Okay, yeah, that's what they do.
We're cheering like crazy. The kids went absolutely primal.
Okay.
You remember? Okay, you've seen Braveheart.
I have. I own Braveheart.
Okay. At the end of the first battle, do you remember at the end of the first battle, his face, because he painted his face blue, on half of his face.
On the first battle? I thought that was later on.
It's first battle.
Okay.
First real battle. The end of the battle has that scene with him. He's got covered in blood. He's got that crazy look in his face. He screams and holds his sword up. Yeah. And then he
freedom,
slams it down.
Yeah.
That was Charlie.
Yeah. Okay.
He was beating the table. They would tell you, beat the table, to support your guy. So he's like slamming the table. I had a beer. I think I had 2 beers the entire time I was there. I was acting like a guy who had 20. Standing up, fat dad belly sticking out. Andrew's beating on the table going, freedom! Yeah, Bess is just like taking pictures of all of us and laughing and screaming.
Okay.
It was a good time.
Good.
It was a good time. I highly recommend that. But yeah, I saw of side of Andrew and Charlie. They went absolutely, completely primal.
Yeah.
We did have a National Lampoon's Vacation Wally World moment.
Okay.
In Death Valley.
Yeah.
Death Valley was at the end of our trip.
Okay.
That was the last place we were going.
According to the name, it's the end of most people's trip.
Yeah. So there's only really one place in Death Valley, like one resort area. Okay.
Yeah.
There is we found another one while we were out there, and I actually got a t-shirt from it because I was like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
It's like a couple of trailers and a dude with a motel, and he's like, come on, I'm glad y'all came. I don't see too many people out this way. But the last official one where they would actually
Three of you could stay in this room, and the other one's going to stay in my room.
the last official one where like Chris Hansen would look for your body out there
Exactly.
is at the place that we stayed. So it's naturally stupid expensive.
Uh-huh.
And I told the family, I was like, I didn't think that there was that much to do out in Death Valley, it being named Death Valley and all.
Right.
I said, this is the chill part of our vacation. We'll spend a couple of days out here. It's, and they charge you basically what they want for food. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, where are you going to go?
Yeah.
You're going to go out here and wrestle a roadrunner out of the mouth of the coyote? Yeah, we saw two coyotes out there in the parking lot of the place.
Oh, sure.
But we get to the resort, all right? And
Yeah.
they have the road leading up to where you're supposed to check in blocked off. So
Okay.
I just walk up and I go around and I just see a random worker walking around. And I'm like, we have a room here. I'm checking. Where do I check in? He's like, we're closed.
Sorry, folks, park's closed. The moose out front should have told you.
Okay.
For the night, or
By the way, this is now, we've been driving for almost over 2 hours from
Okay.
Vegas out into Death Valley.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know this. Death Valley is relatively barren. It's also a mite warm.
yeah.
Okay. And I said, and I quote, what? And he said, yeah, we're closed for the season. I was like, oh, when's the season?
The season?
He's like, yeah, we're closed until October. I was like, I have a room. He's like, well, we got some rooms in the other place. I was like, where's the other place? He's like, down over the hill, go out here, turn right, go about a mile. There's another place down over the hill.
Uh-huh.
They might know something. So we go down
They might know something.
over the hill.
Okay.
At this point, I'm in between panic and how Chevy Chase was, where he pulled the gun on the Wally World, on John Candy.
Yeah.
I'm in between those two. One is
That's a BB gun.
somebody's putting us up for the night somewhere,
yeah.
and the other part of me is like, you can only live 14 hours in Death Valley.
Yeah.
And you die.
Then you're automatically
Yeah.
thinking, do I have
Yeah.
a full tank of gas?
I'm thinking about scorpions crawling on my corpse. I don't know what's going to happen. A coyote's going to drag me off.
By the way, how many gas stations do you pass through there?
Is
there like
I adopted a rule.
Uh-huh.
Every time I see a gas station, I'm stopping.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Good.
my rule.
Yeah.
Because we would go for 50. I think the longest stretch we went like 120 miles once without seeing one.
Okay.
There were two sections. One of them was when we were going out to the tree, which I'll talk about at the final part of the discussion.
Okay.
But there's one part in Arizona where we were in between. I think it was in between Grand Canyon and somewhere, where it became abundantly clear we were completely off the grid.
Mm-hmm.
There was nothing but road in front of us, road behind, and desert
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
around us. And we almost got hit by a guy eating pizza, an old dude driving like a Dodge Dart eating pizza. And he didn't, he was like
you're
partially
out in the middle of nowhere,
Yeah.
and one other car almost hits you.
Yeah.
Okay.
He-
that makes sense.
He was, I don't know where he got the pizza. That still bothers me. I told Bess.
He had it delivered.
Because I think she was asleep through part of this. And I was like, a guy almost, I don't know if it was a mirage. A guy almost hit us. And he was eating pizza. And she's like, oh my God. And I was like, yeah, where did he get pizza?
Yeah.
How did he do? I mean, he had like the one whole hand out and he had the other hand and he's just like chawing into it. An old dude with the fedora, of course.
Of course.
Anyway, we go down to the other place.
Uh-huh.
And the lady there, you talk about knowing how to diffuse a situation. She must have seen me walking in with my Chevy Chaseness,
Yeah.
ready to say, excuse me,
Yeah.
let me put on my Karen face. We're going to have a discussion about the fact that you're closed. And she's like, hi, do you have a reservation? Yeah, I have a reservation. Okay, what's your name? I give her the name. She's like, yeah, bad news is we're closed. Like, what? So the good news is that the Cocina or whatever they're called are open. I was like, what are those? And she said it's like little apartments. So they upgraded us to an apartment with the same cost. And we
Okay.
got like a golf cart and all this stuff.
Nice.
So I went from ready to like throw down to, oh, that's awesome. A golf cart. I can just go anywhere in a cool golf cart.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, It ended up being, Death Valley ended up being one of the favorite points of the whole family on the trip.
Sorry, folks.
Sorry, folks. Death Valley's closed.
This week's podcast is proudly brought to you by Diff Liquid Concentrated Wallpaper Stripper, Trim Fingernail Clippers, and International Delight Almond Joy Flavored Coffee Creamer. Get out your credit card and help these fine companies give Christmas bonuses to their employees. Now back to you, Buck and Dusty.
Stay tuned. Home Depot stories are coming up after Mike's vacation.
Okay, these are just random stories. The journey, I'll just give you the title. I'll give the folks at home the title. Journey to Mordor to get to the Joshua Tree.
Okay.
So, newsflash for people who aren't used to this show. I'm a big U2 fan.
Really?
Yeah. So the place that we were staying in Death Valley, I discovered is 90 minutes away from the Joshua Tree. The Joshua Tree National Park? No, not the Joshua Tree National Park. The Joshua Tree from the album. What up? The Joshua Tree album. When you get the album and you open it up, you see the picture.
Is better than Octung Baby.
You see the... You see the picture. You see the picture of the band with the desert with the Joshua Tree. That Joshua Tree, that one is 90 minutes away from where, 2 hours away from where we were.
Okay,
Death Valley. So I'm like, we're going to go see it. They took their picture. They got their picture there because it's in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Okay. Nothing's out there. So we planned ahead. I'm like, we're leaving at 5:30 in the morning before anything gets hot. Which,
to go see a tree.
By the way, by the time we got to this point,
it's no wonder your kids hate you.
Yeah. By the time we got to this point in the vacation, we were naturally waking up. Or dawn is at like 5 in the morning out there. I mean, it's like you just sunlight's up, and it's like we got to go do something. It's weird. So it's a beautiful drive. But
sure
you're leaving the last bastion of civilization that shouldn't be there in the first place. And it is, Bess was taking pictures and video through the entire drive. It gets progressively more and more desolate as we went further down into Death Valley. We ended up going through mountains. There's volcanic stuff around there. It started to look like Mordor.
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't expect all this. We got through Death Valley. We saw a sign, you're now leaving Death Valley. And then we go for a while. I hit the GPS coordinates of where it was supposed to be, got out of the car, couldn't see the damn thing, had to hike off the road about half a mile.
Yeah.
Used a what do you call those?
Binoculars?
Things? No, a lens on the camera, like a long distance lens.
Okay.
And saw it way off in the distance, came back. Hey, we just got to go like about half a mile off the road here through snake and scorpion country and we'll
cactus.
Get to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait. So
there were no cacti.
So you got off the road.
Got off the road.
To walk.
Yeah.
To see a tree.
Yeah. A dead tree.
Oh, okay.
Dead tree.
It's dead
tree. It's not alive anymore.
Yeah. That's what dead means.
That's what dead means.
Yeah.
But it's become like a U2 shrine. It's like they have people have left stuff. There's an All That You Can't Leave Behind. I knew you would love that little All That You Can't Leave Behind briefcase because that's your favorite thing.
Yeah. It's my favorite album of theirs.
And you open it up and you can put things in it. So we put some stuff in there.
Okay.
And we signed the little guest book they had there. There's Have You Found What You're Looking For plaque that someone made,
nice,
like a thing. Of course, Charlie, at one point we look around, he's standing on the tree. Even though he did that, I allowed him to get back in the car and come back with us.
I have a question.
Yeah.
One of the pictures that you took and posted on the Facebook, there was a fire hydrant. You're out in the middle of nowhere, and there's a fire hydrant.
I took that on purpose.
Okay.
I was going to post that. So
the fact that you took the picture isn't funny.
Yeah.
The fact that there's a fire hydrant out in the middle of nowhere, I find odd.
I was laughing myself silly. Okay, so that picture is a little bit of a con.
Okay.
That's right next to where and we stayed in Monument Valley. We stayed in a cabin.
Mm-hmm.
The office where they rent the cabins out, that fire hydrant is there to protect that office. But the direction I took the picture, it looks like a fire hydrant's out there in the middle of the desert.
Yeah.
We went to Arizona,
okay,
which I highly, highly recommend. It was one of the main highlights of the trip. It is a drive-through zoo. Have you ever been through one of those things?
Negative.
They have the animals are just walking around. Just bears, bison, wolves.
Okay.
Just walking around. Okay. And they have signs as you come up to each section. Don't stop. Roll your windows up. When you go to the wolves and the bear, roll your windows up.
Yeah.
Don't feed them.
Don't
all
be
this
a
stuff.
dumbass. Yeah.
And Charlie was cracking us up because there was one bear, and he's like, Charlie's like, oh, that bear got beef. The bear looked like it had some beef, like it was ready to start some crap with
Okay.
us. It just walked out in the road, just starts walking directly to us, and we're like, we can't run over the bear,
Right.
But we're not allowed to stop, and so we're swerving around this bear. The bison were terrifying.
Yes.
They were huge.
Yeah.
And they just walk up to, and they're like looking but it was fun. It was
I
great.
told you the story when I lived in Tennessee about the buffalo, right?
Yeah.
My buddy Shannon, his family had a farm, and the people who had the farm next to theirs raised buffalo, and they would breed buffalo with cattle to get beefalo.
Yeah.
It's a thing. I thought he was with me.
Okay.
It's a thing.
Yeah.
So he said that one of the buffalo had gotten off of their land,
Yeah.
or off their property, had broken a fence and was on his land.
Okay.
I'm like, you're lying. He goes, no, let's go check it out. So we're on his land. We walked over one hill and then down. We walked up another hill, and we could see the buffalo off in the distance. When we walked down, we didn't realize that the buffalo was walking toward us, and we're just talking blah, blah, blah. Next thing you know, we're 20 feet away from a buffalo looking right at us.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh. Now what do we do? Because if it charges us, we're screwed.
Yeah.
And we just slowly, ever so slowly, walked sideways to a tree.
Yeah.
And then we hung around there, and then we got out of there. But yeah. 20 feet away from a buffalo.
Gee, yeah. So we drive through all this stuff, and there's a driving portion. And by the way, the quality of this place is like Disney level, Universal level quality, and it's in the middle of nowhere. We were just in awe. We were like amazed. There's a walking portion, and this will tie into a story later when I take my kid out into the middle of nowhere at 1 a.m. They have caged jaguars.
Okay.
Okay, so we go see. There's like, but it didn't look like a jaguar. It was like black. I think it was a black panther.
Okay.
Them's big.
Yeah.
It was pretty big.
Yeah.
Said there was a mountain lion in there, so I didn't know if I was looking at a mountain lion, a black panther, or a jaguar. But I thought, I don't care. That thing looks like it could destroy. It looked muscular.
Yeah.
It looked like it would hurt.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Put that away in your memory, because it comes
Done.
back. It comes back. We went to a place called Bishop's Castle.
Okay.
There's a man named Bishop, something Bishop.
And he owns the castle?
He built the castle.
Oh, okay.
Throughout his entire life. He said we talked to, he was there, because I read on the website, it's like, you may get lucky and he may be here. There was a man sitting there, and you were like, are you Mr. Bishop? Mm-hmm. Well, yes, I am. And yes, he was, because we saw his picture later. It wasn't just some old dude that said he was.
It's like, Dad, would you stop telling people you run this place? I'm sorry. My father needs help. Yeah. Then they get in the car, and then they go back to Massachusetts, where they live.
He built this castle.
On rock and roll.
By hand.
Uh-huh.
And it is the most amazing structure. It's completely unsafe. 100%. Nothing. You talk about code, whatever. Uh-huh. There were multiple times where I'm like climbing, the stairs and stuff, and I look over and it's just open air. And you could, if you step the wrong way, you're dead.
A few years ago, we went to Belize on it was one of the stops on a cruise.
Yeah.
That we went to two places in Mexico, Belize and Honduras. And we were at the Mayan ruins, the actual Mayan ruins.
Yeah.
And you could walk up one of the ruins, right?
Yeah.
And there's no handrails.
No.
Right. There's no.
They don't care.
Yeah. And Cameron is scared out of his mind. Because, it's like, okay, well, I think if I fall off and die, I'll die where they had the human sacrifices. Yeah. And the tour guide says, oh, sir, they didn't have sacrifices. I'm like, you're out of your mind.
I saw Apocalypto.
Yeah,
I know.
I did. Yeah, exactly.
So this, I didn't want to take a pic. I wanted to get a picture of the guy, but he didn't look like the kind of guy that you would say, like, I'm going to take a selfie. He would be like, what?
Get that camera out of my
He told us he told us he was 67, and he said he started building this when he was 14. He's been building it his whole life.
Okay.
He makes his money off of tourism. And they have weddings in there. There's a main room with it's huge. So best posted pictures, like a dragon that he made out of metal coming out of the top. I took a lot of pictures inside. It's massive. It was like, wow.
Yeah.
But so when I got up on top of the castle, I wanted to get a picture of him, and I was like, he can't see what I'm doing. So I zoom in. There's the guy. We come down through all the stuff. We got separated multiple times. We all come down, and Bess says, I think I want to try to get a picture of him. And I'm like, I don't know. She's like, I think he's asleep. I look over His head is down. His arm is out, resting on something. And I was like, he may be dead. He looked one of the two. He's either
check your ticket stub. We may now own this place.
So she got close enough to him. She got a picture. I was like, we may have. I don't know if I hope he's still with us.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we didn't take a picture of a corpse.
You may have the last picture of him.
You may have the last picture of him. But it was an awesome part. At Death Valley, Bess ordered food at the pool because we didn't want to go get the food. To get the food, you had to drive to that other place. It was like a mile away.
Right.
Or we could order food directly from the pool. So we ordered nachos. Everyone knows what nachos are.
Yeah.
Right?
I do.
And we had nachos and then some words we didn't understand, but we're like, everybody knows nachos. The words we didn't understand were sushi.
Okay.
It didn't say sushi. But she ordered 2 of them. She's like, that sounds good. Let's get 2 plates of that.
Nachos with sushi?
We started eating it, and everybody kind of looked at each other. I'm like, well, this is Death Valley.
See,
maybe
we live
tomatoes.
in Cincinnati. I thought chili and spaghetti was nasty. But
maybe,
nachos with sushi?
Yeah, maybe tomatoes are a little bit weird out here in Death Valley. So we started eating it, and I was like, Bess, I think this is sushi, which I like sushi.
I've had it.
No one else in the family likes it. And she immediately was like, ugh. And the kids were like, oh my God. So then Peppy, the guy that gave us the
pool boy.
His name wasn't Peppy. Came over. He had like a little golfer hat thing. He had a uniform. It was weird. Anyway, he was really excited to be there. Nice guy.
Peppy.
Peppy. I said, "Is this sushi?" He's like, "Yes, it is." And he gives me the whole thing, and I'm like, "Oh!" And this is like, "Ugh." Yeah. So, we had 2 plates of very expensive. It was like $20 plates of this stuff. We had 2 of them. We spent $40 on sushi. So I crammed a bunch of it in my mouth. I'm like, well, that's my food.
Then you marched into the desert.
Yeah, marched into
the desert. The sushi cooked inside your stomach.
Yeah. We before I go to this next part, let me point out, we've talked about it before, vacation money. Every time I've ever gone on vacation, the first few times we eat or something, it's like, whoa. No, I'm not spending that amount of money.
Right.
And then by the end of it, you're like, oh, is it glass of water is $70? Yeah. That sounds cheap.
Yeah.
I'll get 2 of those. That's
you boys are splitting it. Yeah.
At one of the places we stopped, it was in Grand Canyon, we got cheeseburgers.
Cheeseburger.
$140.
For 4 cheeseburgers?
Yes. One of them was the kid's size for Charlie. I'm not kidding you.
Oh my, what was on? Did it come with fries?
Yeah, it did come with fries.
A drink? Did it come with a drink?
No, that was all the drinks, everything together.
Okay.
No, don't say that's normal.
No, I'm like, well, that's better than just.
Yeah. Yeah. So then I said, I'm not spending $140 for cheeseburgers again. That was in our hotel. We're going to go to one of these restaurants and, $140 at the restaurant too. But at least then we got steak. But we got used to $150, $160 odd dollars per meal. We just got used to it.
What it was at Universal Studios, $7 for a churro, which is like a little bit bigger than a pencil.
Yep.
Lord.
Yeah.
This portion of our show is brought to you by the 4-Slice Toaster. Hi, I'm Dave Lay, and my family loves toast. Back in the day, before all this podcast money rolled in, I had a 2-slice toaster, and me and my family were just miserable. By the time the 3rd and 4th piece of bread was toasted, the 1st and 2nd pieces were already cold. And who needs that crap? Am I right? Get a 4-slice toaster and your breakfast will be 1,000 times better. The 4-slice toaster is also perfect for bagels, English muffins, frozen waffles, Pop-Tarts. The list goes on and on. The 4-slice toaster, available wherever quality small kitchen appliances are sold. Back to you, Seth.
Some other small highlights. Omnimart in Meow Wolf, Las Vegas.
Okay.
It's basically a warehouse and it has cool stuff in there. So it's like an escape. You've been in escape rooms. You know what?
I have not been in an escape room.
It's like,
but I have been to my ex-girlfriend's house.
Okay. It's a themed thing. So you walk into it, it's like a supermarket that has weird products. And I have pictures of all these things, like $50 for like a snail skull with like a worm hanging out of it. And it's like just odd stuff. And like the Coke bottles are like twisted and turn around.
I've seen
and
those,
you can poke around and do stuff. And then we opened up one of the Coke bottle things, and then like all this light pours out, and there's like these psychedelic stuff, and you go down a tunnel, and then you're behind the supermarket, and you're going through all this weird stuff. It has a story. It's like a Stranger Things type thing of other dimensional stuff coming in. One of the guys that does artwork that Tool uses for their shows did a room in there. So there's a lot of Tool imagery. That's how I found out about this place from the Tool groups. Yeah. Really, really cool. Really cool place to go to. The other piece of it was we were in Monument Valley, and we're going on a tour, the Navajo tour guide, and we're going through all this stuff. We're learning about all their culture, all these things. I'm getting deep into that piece of it. I'm like, here, I'm in the desert. I'm getting all this stuff. And all of a sudden the guy says, have you seen Indiana Jones? Yes.
Yes, I have.
Yeah, I have.
Have I?
Have I seen it? I lived and breathed Indiana Jones for at least 15, 20 years of my life.
Yeah.
He pointed to this hole in the top of this cave we were in and said that is where they filmed Indiana Jones coming down. You remember Raiders of the Lost Ark, the snakes?
Yes.
When he comes down the rope
snakes.
to save Marion. Is it Marion or Marion? Marion from the snakes. That hole. And they're like, no, that was idiot me.
Right.
Idiot me. I'm like, no, that was in Egypt.
No, he was
that was in Cairo with Gimli.
No. No.
I was like, and then I thought, no, they would. Why would they?
Bad dates.
Yeah. Why? Yeah. Why would they ship his Star Wars ass over to Egypt when they got this thing right here? It's just a couple hours away.
They probably shot it right next to where they shot C-3PO.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, so it was a good vacation.
Yes.
Good.
Yes. The last piece. I thought I was going to die because this is where the mountain lion comes in.
Oh, mountain lion.
Yeah.
Okay.
So dark sky country. Okay. I showed you a picture earlier of the galaxy that I took in Monument Valley.
Yeah.
Death Valley is another dark sky area where you can possibly see the galaxy. A lot of stars out there. Unfortunately, it was a full moon the night Andrew and I went out.
Yeah.
Andrew and I went out at like 11:30 p.m.
Yeah.
To Badwater Basin. We're in Death Valley. Okay. We're already off the grid. This is another half hour deeper into Death Valley, the deepest point away from everyone at 1 a.m. What could possibly go wrong? Okay.
Yeah.
Before we go out there, I'm looking at, I was concerned, there's wildlife. We've already seen 2 coyotes. I was like, what wildlife could be out here? And rattlesnakes, jackrabbits, coyotes. I can fight all those things off. And it said every once in a while a mountain lion is spotted. I'm like, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So of course, me and him pack into the car. We're going to drive down into this in the middle of the night. And I'm trying to explain to him the dangers and why we're going to stay in the car for a little bit until we get out.
Yeah.
I was like, bud, we need to let our eyes get used to the darkness. We also need to make sure that there's nothing out there. Like what? Well, there could be a jackrabbit.
Scorpions. Snakes.
We're not going to go out into the salt flats of Badwater.
Chupacabra.
Yeah. We're going to stay near the car. Why? Well, in case your dad's very unlucky. In case this happens to be the time a mountain lion's out there, we can jump. This is my plan. We're going to jump back into the car and then we'll be safe. Okay. We'll get all the way out there. We get the camera. We adjust our eyes for 20 minutes, all this stuff. We get out. It's safe. There's another car down there. I took some solace in that. In retrospect, I probably should have been concerned that was like a serial killer, but
sure,
whatever. Get ready to take a picture, and there's no battery in the camera.
Okay.
Now, a normal dad would we're going back and going to bed. This dad, we're going back to get that battery, and then we came back out. We did the same thing again. We let our eyes adjust. Now it's like 1 a.m, 1:30, something like that. Took a few pictures. You can't see much. I did get a nice picture of the Big Dipper.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
There haven't been a lot of pictures taken of that.
And then went back, and then in the morning explained to Bess, I had our son out at 1:30, 2 a.m. in Badwater Basin in Death Valley with another car that I don't know out there. And there's been sightings of mountain lions out here.
Sure.
And there was a report of a bobcat attacking a tenant or a vacationer,
right?
And
a human.
and
a vacationer.
a vacationer and a resort employee in Furnace Creek, California. I was like, what resort is in Furnace Creek, California? Oh, yeah, the
This one.
we're at.
Yeah.
A bobcat's been out here assaulting people. So, good times.
Good.
We're alive. We have all of our limbs, very few emotional scars. Yeah.
Oh, I'm glad you had a good time.
Thank you. I'm sorry I took up the whole episode talking about this damn thing.
It's okay. People are saying, I think Darren's in about 1 minute of this one. Yeah. Which, for people who prefer you, this is the perfect episode.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
This portion of our show is brought to you by the Corky Beehive Max Toilet Plunger, the world's most powerful plunger. Hi, I'm Dave Lay. Are you tired of breaking your back trying to unclog a nasty, impossibly blocked up toilet? Well, stand back, Troy. Do I have a product for you? The Beehive Max Toilet Plunger fits all toilet brands, including Kohler, with no splashback and powerful clog removal. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why the hell do they call it the Beehive Max? Well, it's because this plunger actually looks like a beehive. It's quite brilliant, really. Run out and buy one for every bathroom in your home, because there's nothing more embarrassing than having company over and having to yell, "Hey honey, can you bring me the plunger?" The Corky Beehive Max Toilet Plunger, available everywhere quality toilet repair products are sold. Now, back to the show.
Well, while you were gone, I had a couple of instances at the Home Depot.
Okay.
One was better than the other one. And the first one I didn't think could be topped. So I told you Mom moved up here.
Yeah.
She lives about 10 minutes down the road from us.
Yeah.
And her patio, she wasn't crazy about the brick on her patio.
Okay.
So she bought a rug, an outdoor rug.
Okay.
She's got the outdoor rug out there. And she's like, well, I wish it covered more of the patio.
Yeah.
So we measured, and we thought if we get two, one more just like this one, it'll cover up almost the whole thing.
Yeah.
And it'll cover up the middle of the patio that she's not really crazy about. So she goes and she starts calling Home Depots, one after another. Do you have this outdoor rug? No, we don't. She called another one. Do you have this one? No, we don't. Third one, fourth one. She finally finds a Home Depot that has it. Okay. But it's like 20.
It's Death Valley.
It's in Death Valley.
Okay.
Yeah. So we drove out there at 1:30 in the morning, and I didn't have a battery. Wait a minute. I'm telling your story. We went after church because this Home Depot was close to where we go to church on the other side of town.
Yeah.
And Libby and I went. We just picked it up. So we're going into the Home Depot, and it's laid out completely different than any of the Home Depots near our house.
Yeah.
And we find somebody, can you tell us where the outdoor rugs are? They said, well, there's some on 10, and there's also some on 14. I don't know why there are some on 10 and some on 14. You'd think they'd all be on 10.
The rugs on 14 got tired of the rugs on 10.
They've got to be separated.
That's right.
Yeah. It's not like you can find hammers here, and there's also some hammers there,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So we go to 10, can't find those rugs. We go over to 14, we can't find those rugs.
Oh.
We grab another employee. Can you tell me where the
rugs
outdoor
are.
rugs are? Well, those are outdoors. Okay. So we went outdoors.
This wasn't on Father's Day when you were doing this.
No,
Because it could have been a dad joke. You know, just-
We went outdoors, and it turns out the outdoor rugs aren't outdoors.
okay.
No. And now Libby's starting to get pissed.
Yeah.
Because
where the hell are the
we
outdoor-
haven't had lunch.
Yeah.
We're hungry.
Oh.
Yeah, we're starting
Yeah.
to get hangry.
Okay.
So they're not outdoors. We come
Yeah.
back in and we ask a third employee, where can I find outdoor rugs? And this person says, there's some on 10 and then there's some on 14. Son of a bitch. We grab a fourth employee, and this guy was really nice. And all I can say is he kind of looked like Dan Fogelberg.
Okay.
We asked Dan Fogelberg, we have been on 10, we've been on 14, we have been outside.
Yeah.
We cannot find the outdoor rug. And he says, do you have a product number? And and we actually did.
Okay. All right.
And we did, because Mom looked it up on the www. And I showed it to him. He goes, oh, follow me. And he walks up to the front of the store near where the
I know
patio,
exactly
the
what you're
patio
talking about.
furniture and that is,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so Libby is kind of frustrated and was hanging
Because
back.
you guys walked by it like 15 times. didn't you?
and never saw it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's in the front. Behind, it's obstructed by some patio stuff.
Idiots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Dan Fogelberg takes me and shows me, goes, is this the rug that you're looking for?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah. And then Libby walks by and I said, Libby, come over here. And the guy says, I'm going to mess with her. I said, no, you're not.
No.
He goes, oh, no. He looks, how many do you want? 3? And she goes, no, I want 1. One rug.
Oh, my God. He ignored your warning.
And then he started laughing and she's like, you know.
Oh,
So we get that rug and we take it and we laid it out at Mom's house and she's completely happy. So that's Home Depot story number 1. Flash forward a couple of weeks and Libby and I are at another Home Depot. This is the one near the house. This is the one across the street from the Breaking Bad Walmart. Okay. And we're looking for stuff. We're looking for mulch. We're looking for.
So the other one was in Westchester on Tylersville Road?
No.
So
The other one was way down off of 275
Oh.
near where that old mall used to be, that old abandoned. Yeah.
Farted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're at the garden center.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we're looking at mulch, we're looking at plants and stuff to whatever. And so Libby says, ask the guy if they have Japanese maples. So I asked the kid who's working.
But American maples aren't good enough for it?
Apparently not. So I asked the guy, I said, do you have any Japanese maples? And he said, I don't know. And he looks at me and I swear to God, he said, I don't really know a lot about this stuff. I thought, well, it's a good thing you're working in the garden center. So we go back out, and then we find another employee who told us he went on his phone, right, and looked on the Home Depot on the thing that they all have.
Yeah.
And he says, you know what? You can order them. You can't buy them in the store. You can order them, and we'll deliver them for free, but you can't get them here in the store. I said, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So we're looking around for some more, checking out, do we want mulch? Do we want to put rock? What do we want to do with the yard? And Libby says, ask that guy if they have any salvia. So I asked the first guy, do you have salvia? And he said, is that a plant? And I just...
It's like you're...
I just started... I was a dick, you know. I started laughing. I'm like, and I'm walking out, and Libby's like, Darren, you're being rude. I said, I couldn't help it. I'm sorry. He works in the garden center.
Yeah.
And he doesn't know if salvia is a plant.
It sounds like you're mispronouncing saliva.
Saliva.
Yeah.
So... And then we went and we're looking through something else in the store, and then I run into that guy and I'm ducked so he wouldn't have to see my face again.
Yeah.
But man, Home Depot, you guys are hit and miss with customer service. All right, we've got to wrap this thing up, but before we go, I promised, song that needs to be retired. Our first country song on the list is "She Thinks My Tractor's Sexy" by Kenny Chesney. Kenny Chesney, he went to East Tennessee State University, where I went to college.
Oh, wow.
Now, let's run down a couple of the lyrics for "She Thinks My Tractor's Sexy." Okay. Right. Plowing these fields in the hot summer sun, over by the gate, Lordy, here she comes, with a basket full of chicken and a big cold jug of sweet tea. I make a little room, and she climbs on up. I open up the throttle and stir a little dust. Just look at her face. She ain't a foolin' me. She thinks my tractor's sexy.
Oh. Okay.
It really turns her on. She's always staring at me while I'm chugging along. She likes the way it's pulling while we're tilling her land. She even kind of crazy about my farmer's stand.
Oh,
she's the only one who really understands what gets me. She thinks my tractor's sexy. And whenever, I swear to God, have you ever seen line dancers?
Yeah.
Line dancing is like a cult.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whenever they're at a bar when this song comes on.
It's like the electric slide with cowboy hats.
It's like the electric slide, because when She Thinks My Tractor's Sexy comes on, the floor fills up with line dancers, and then they go into God Bless Texas. and it needs to stop. So, Kenny, I'm happy that you're from East Tennessee State University and you've had a lot of fortunate blessings with this song. It's made you rich, but it needs to stop. This song needs to go. We need to retire it. And Well, guys, listen, we have gone overtime on this. We want to thank you for listening. We want to encourage you to go to irritabledadsyndrome.com, go to Patreon, and if you want to financially support this podcast, you can give $1 a month. You can give a little bit more.
Yeah, what's $1?
Yeah, it's nothing.
Yeah.
You can give $1 a month. Come on. The hell's wrong with you? I don't know.
All right.
But you can
scared
go to our website. You
Yep.
can listen to previous episodes, and we really hope you do. And we want to thank you, and we hope to see you next week on Irritable Dad Syndrome.
Well, we've come to that time again when we have to say goodbye. But don't worry, we'll be back again soon. Remember, you can always listen to previous episodes on our website, irritabledadsyndrome.com. Thanks for listening. Except for you, Chris Hughes.
Look, it's all over and done with. We'll find a place to stay for the night and we'll start fresh in the morning. It's fine.
I don't want to be in the car anymore. I want to go home. I don't want to go to Wally World.
Clark, under the circumstances, I wouldn't mind if we just went home. In retrospect, it seems like a pretty bad idea driving out. It's been one disaster after another.
Yeah, it's been a real drag, Dad. Maybe we can try it some other time. Wally World's overrated anyway.
What do you think?
I think you're all f***ed in the head. We're 10 hours from the f***ing fun park and you want to bail out. Well, I'll tell you something. This is no longer a vacation. It's a quest. It's a quest for fun. I'm going to have fun and you're going to have fun. We're all going to have so much f***ing fun we'll need plastic surgery to remove our goddamn spiles. You'll be whistling Symphony Doodah out of your ass. I got to be crazy. I'm on a pilgrimage to see a moose. Praise Marty Moose. Holy shit.
Dad, you want to ask her something?
Don't touch!